Hi there, my name is Graham Codrington. It's the 22nd of December 2020 and this is a COVID update. I didn't want to do another COVID update this year, but I think that we need to because there is now news of this new mutant strain of COVID out of the UK, out of South Africa and other parts of the world. And I think it's important for us to understand what's going on and how we should respond. I'm not a medical expert, but I am a scenario planner and I help my clients to anticipate disruptive change and have spent the whole of 2020 focused on COVID and the disruptions that it's causing. And I think that there are three pieces of actually quite good news just at the moment. The first piece of good news is that this mutant strain of COVID has not taken the scientists by surprise. We always knew that COVID would mutate, so there's no surprise then. We shouldn't be freaked out by the mutations. In fact, there are multiple mutations going on and have been since the beginning. The version of COVID that was prevalent in Europe and Africa is not the same, for example, as the strain that was originally in Wuhan. Viruses mutate. The particular virus that we're concerned about at the moment that's been identified in London was first identified in September, but it's only in mid-December that it has really gone into the general population and has become the dominant strain of the virus now ripping through southeast England. And it is concerning because this particular variant is more infectious, it travels faster, it has a higher viral load, it's more likely to cause people to get the bad version of COVID. And so we really do need to deal with it. And that's part of the reason, at least, why the UK government has taken the decision to close that Christmas 5-day window to force higher levels of lockdown. And it's the reason why many countries have shut down travel from the UK with immediate effect. A similar mutation has been identified in South Africa, starting in Port Elizabeth and now moving along the Eastern Cape coast up into KZN towards Durban. And for similar reasons, the South African government has decided to put stricter lockdowns onto that part of the country. There will probably be these types of mutations elsewhere in the world. As I say, scientists were not surprised by this and they know how to respond. So that's sort of good news because at least we're not surprised this time. The second piece of good news is much better, and that is that the vaccines we've developed will still work on this mutation. In fact, scientists say that it's going to take a lot of mutations for the vaccine to stop working. And then there's even better news. These mRNA vaccines are a different type of vaccine that we've got a lot better understanding of genetics. We can basically, and I heard one doctor refer to this as plug and play. We can, if the virus mutates, we can simply take the mutation, plug in new information into the vaccine literally within a few hours, and boom, we've got a vaccine that works with the new mutations. So we're kind of on top of this with our vaccination program, and that's really good news. The virus is not outsmarting us. We're on top of this. If you want more information, do a search for some of the medical doctors' videos giving detailed information about this. The third piece of good news is that we know how to deal with this. The new mutations are dealt with in exactly the same way as we've been dealing with COVID the whole of this year. We have to stop the spread of this virus, and then we will deal with the new mutation. So how do we do that? Well, we know how to do that. We physical distance, we wear our masks, we sanitize all the time. And now you can add get a vaccine as soon as possible. And while you're waiting for your vaccine, dose up on vitamin D, keep yourself healthy. I think we need to take that away. This is good news that this virus is not mutating beyond our reach, beyond our ability to engage with it. So don't be freaked out by news of these mutant virus strains. Just simply double up on your precautions and do everything you were supposed to be doing for the whole of this year anyway. You see, the only other alternative is for us to lock down again, and nobody wants lockdowns. Lockdowns hurt us economically and they offend our sense of freedom. Ideally, what we should be doing is what the countries who have dealt with COVID best have been doing this whole year. We should be doing track and trace, intensive tracking of everybody who's had exposure to COVID, whatever variant of COVID, and then quarantining people who have had exposure and making sure that we stop the transmission of this virus in its tracks. Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, New Zealand, Australia, and a number of other countries have done this very effectively and have seen an almost complete stop of COVID spreading. If we can do that, that would be ideal. So if your country has a track and trace app, please download it and use it. It's still not too late. Let's get into that mode and that system. Most countries, though, can't do it at the level that would be required. And so, like in my home country, South Africa, and my second home country, the UK, we've got real problems at the moment. And at this time of year, when we'd love to just be meeting with our family and friends, traveling, enjoying holidays, relaxing, we can't afford to do that. Remember that this virus has a 7 to 10 day period where you are asymptomatic, where you don't know you have the disease, but you are infectious. That's always been the danger and difficulty with COVID, is that asymptomatic period where you can infect others. And so whatever we've done in the last few days to lock down, shut down, close down, and stay safe, we have to wait 7 to 10 days to see the impact and the effect of that. And right now, while we're waiting in many countries around the world, we're seeing hospitals fill up again, we're seeing COVID infections surge. And if you get this new variant of COVID, it could be much more damaging and much more dangerous than before. If we don't take responsibility, if we don't do what we know we need to do, physical distance, wear masks, sanitize, do all the things we know to do, I think our governments might have little choice but to lock us down again in early January. As tough and as rough as that will be, and nobody wants that. So let's do our bit over this holiday period to make sure that we reduce the impact of these new strains of COVID. They feel a bit like a body blow at this time of year, but maybe there is a slight silver lining. And that is that because they're happening now, when maybe economically we can take a little bit of a relaxation gap, when we can just ease off of our activity if we choose to. Maybe we can also take the moment to have a reminder that 2021 is going to be a lot like 2020. The virus is not gone. Vaccinations have begun, but they will take time to roll out. The only difference is we shouldn't be surprised this time. We shouldn't be scrambling. We shouldn't try to work out what needs to do and what must happen. We know what needs to happen, and we know that now it's in our hands. Let's be responsible. Let's break the cycle of this virus. Let's make sure that we enter 2021 doing everything that we can to contribute to better health and good times in the year ahead. Happy holidays and a happy new year to you. I'll see you in 2021.